Attention gun owners. A court ruling and one wrong stop can wreck your legal carry overnight. Last Friday, Patricia, age 72, left Charlotte for a short anniversary trip. She believed her permit protected her the whole way across two state lines. By dinner, she was trembling in a hotel parking lot, afraid to unload her pistol. One bad assumption nearly exposed her to $9,240 in costs and criminal trouble. Before I show you how to avoid that kind of mess, stop briefly. If you're not subscribed, you're risking your future on late information. Rules change quietly. Then people find out after flashing lights appear. You don't want your next lesson to happen beside a patrol car. Subscribe now, then stay with me through every step. Here's the big issue in plain language, without all the courtroom clutter. For years, some states let officials deny carry permits almost however they wanted. Two people with clean records could apply, and only one got approved. That left regular gun owners guessing, waiting, and paying for empty applications. A major ruling changed that system and demanded clearer, fairer standards. But that wasn't the end of the story, and that's the trap. Some states didn't give up after losing ground on permit approvals. Instead, they expanded place restrictions, posting rules, and transport requirements. So you may win the permit fight, then lose everywhere else. That's why people feel safe on paper while still breaking rules in public. Let me tell you about Patricia. She's 72 years old and lives in Charlotte, North Carolina. Her husband handled most travel details before he passed 2 winters ago. Now she plans every trip carefully and keeps a small notebook. She believed her state permit meant she was covered during family visits. Early that morning, Patricia crossed into another state for her granddaughter's recital. She stopped for gas, then reached for her purse and froze. Her pistol sat in the console, loaded, exactly where it sat at home. A clerk mentioned local carry rules after seeing her lockbox on the seat. Patricia felt her stomach drop because nobody had warned her before. The problem got worse during a routine traffic stop 10 miles later. She told the officer she had a firearm, thinking honesty solved everything. Instead, he asked whether her permit was honored in that state. He also asked why the gun wasn't stored under local transport rules. Patricia couldn't answer because she'd never checked reciprocity before leaving home. For 15 long minutes, she thought her trip might end in handcuffs. What saved her was something simple, but most people never do it. She had printed her permit, training record, and destination information before leaving. The officer saw she was cooperative and clearly trying to follow rules. He gave her a warning, directions, and a safer storage instruction. That warning likely saved her more than $90,240 and months of stress. Patricia got lucky, and luck is a terrible legal strategy. She now checks every state route before driving farther than her county. She also keeps a locked case, written notes, and emergency numbers handy. Her lesson is simple. Your home habits can become violations somewhere else. If you travel armed, assumption is the most expensive mistake you'll make. Quick pause for a second. What state are you watching from right now? Drop your state name in the comments below this video. Rules change by state, county, and sometimes even by building. Your comment also helps this message reach more responsible gun owners. Now let's talk about Thomas. He's 69 and lives in Denver, Colorado with his rescue dog, Miller. Thomas spent 40 years fixing diesel engines and hates paperwork with passion. He finally applied for a carry permit after neighborhood break-ins increased nearby. He thought the hard part was the application fee and class time. 3 weeks later, Thomas got approved and felt relieved for the first time. He tucked the permit into his wallet and started carrying daily. Then his daughter invited him to a school awards ceremony downtown. Thomas parked, stepped out, and almost walked straight toward the entrance. A parent near the gate asked whether he knew firearms were prohibited there. He backed up fast, but the scare didn't end there. The school sat beside a city office, youth center, and courthouse annex. Each building had different rules, different signs, and separate parking boundaries. Thomas realized one legal carry day could become 3 violations after one wrong turn. What bothered him most was how hard the rules were to find. He told me it felt like a maze designed to trap careful people. Thomas fixed the problem by building a personal carry map on paper. He marked schools, government offices, stadiums, and posted private properties near him. He also called the sheriff's office and asked direct, simple questions. That one afternoon of research likely saved him at least $7,315. More important, it gave him confidence instead of constant second guessing. Today, Thomas still carries, but only after checking where he'll actually go. He no longer assumes a permit is a green light everywhere. He plans parking, stops, and backups before leaving the driveway. His story matters because most mistakes happen during ordinary errands, not emergencies. Normal days create legal trouble faster than dramatic moments ever do. Here's what frustrates me, and maybe it frustrates you too. Law-abiding people do the homework, pay the fees, and take the classes. Then shifting rules turn them into targets for technical mistakes. Meanwhile, criminals don't study posted signs or transport statutes at all. That imbalance makes regular people anxious while doing little to stop bad actors. And the confusion multiplies once you cross a border with your firearm. Some states allow permitless carry for qualified adults at home. Some require permits, but issue them under fixed standards. Others recognize very few outside permits and restrict transport aggressively, so one road trip can move you through 3 different legal worlds. That's why travel planning matters as much as marksmanship or gear. Real quick, if this is helping, hit the like button now. That tiny click helps this video reach more careful gun owners. The more people see this, the fewer honest mistakes happen. It takes 2 seconds and costs you absolutely nothing. Go ahead and like the video before we continue. Let me tell you about Barbara. She's 74 and lives in Jacksonville, Florida, near her oldest son. Barbara started carrying after a man followed her through a pharmacy parking lot. She took a class, bought a compact pistol, and practiced monthly. At home, she followed her routine and rarely had second thoughts. Then she flew to the Midwest for her sister's heart procedure. Barbara packed her unloaded firearm correctly for the airline and felt prepared. She even used a hard case and separate ammunition container. Everything went smoothly until she picked up her rental car. That's where home state habits stopped matching destination state rules. The rental lot sat next to a posted private business complex. Barbara entered a restaurant while her locked case stayed under the rear seat. A server mentioned the property's no weapons policy after spotting her range bag. Barbara realized she had never checked how that state treated posted signs. She also learned her permit wasn't recognized there after midnight due to expiration timing. One overlooked renewal date suddenly raised the risk of charges and confiscation. Barbara didn't panic, and that decision changed everything. She returned to the car, unloaded again, and drove to her hotel. At the desk, she asked for a room safe and local attorney numbers. The next morning, she renewed her permit online and reviewed destination laws carefully. That quick reset likely saved her more than $6,880 and a humiliating arrest. Most people don't think expiration timing matters until it matters a lot. Now Barbara keeps renewal reminders 90, 60, and 30 days ahead. She never assumes travel rules match airline rules or home rules. She checks private property policies before walking through unfamiliar doors. Her story gives you hope because preparation fixed the problem quickly. A calm reset can still rescue a bad situation before it spreads. There's another piece people miss, and it's a huge one. Private property rules can make a valid permit feel almost useless. In some places, stores welcome legal carry unless they post against it. In others, you may need clear permission before carrying inside. That difference changes how you shop, eat, fuel up, and travel. You can be careful and still get blindsided without checking beforehand. And remember, some places remain restricted no matter what state you're in. Federal buildings, secure airport zones, many courthouses, and certain school properties stay sensitive. A permit does not erase those boundaries or your duty to know them. That's why broad headlines are dangerous when people treat them like full instructions. A big court win may expand rights while still leaving hard limits. You need both sides of the picture, not just the exciting half. Let me tell you about Richard. He's 71 and lives in Fort Worth, Texas, with his wife Ellen. Richard grew up around firearms and thought he understood carry laws well. His state changed faster than he realized, and that created false confidence. He believed no permit meant no serious legal homework anymore. One weekend, Richard drove north for a classic car show. He carried as usual and figured common sense would cover everything else. At lunch, he met another attendee who mentioned local magazine restrictions and venue bans. Richard laughed at first because the information sounded too complicated to be true. Then he checked his phone and saw multiple warnings from local gun owners. His face turned pale because the event center sat beside municipal offices. Things got tense when security started wanding people at the next entrance. Richard returned to his truck before reaching the checkpoint line. Inside the cab, he realized his spare magazine setup violated local venue policy. He also learned the parking area had posted terms tied to the adjacent property. One wrong step could have triggered trespass issues, confiscation, and thousands in defense costs. Richard told me anger hit before fear because nobody explains these layers clearly. He solved it by making a hard rule for himself. If he can't explain the local carry rules in 1 minute, he doesn't carry there. Instead, he uses secure storage, calls ahead, or changes the destination entirely. That choice may have saved him roughly $8,470 and a permanent headache. Smart restraint is not weakness when the legal ground keeps shifting. Sometimes the strongest move is knowing when not to carry. Richard still supports carry rights with his whole heart, but now he respects details more than slogans or internet comments. He verifies venues, parking terms, and local ordinances before big events. His story matters because overconfidence causes trouble faster than ignorance sometimes. People who think they already know everything often stop checking altogether. A lot of viewers ask whether the courts are finished changing this area. The answer is no, not even close. More cases are moving through the system right now. Some challenge long lists of off-limits locations and posted property rules. Others question whether states can use narrow exceptions to limit everyday carry. So the landscape you learned last year may already be outdated today. Let me tell you about Nancy. She's 76 and lives in Seattle, Washington, on a quiet hillside street. Nancy never expected to care about carry law until recent break-ins shook her block. She applied late in life after a neighbor was assaulted nearby. Her permit arrived, and she finally felt a little safer walking alone. Months later, Nancy volunteered at a community fundraiser in another county. The event used a public park, a rented hall, and private vendor tents. Nancy assumed her permit covered the whole property because admission was public. Then another volunteer mentioned the organizer had signed a no-weapons insurance agreement. Nancy felt embarrassed because she had already been helping for 2 hours. The confusion deepened when staff disagreed about what the rule actually meant. One supervisor said the ban applied only inside the hall. Another said the whole event footprint was restricted during operating hours. Nancy stepped aside, unloaded, and locked everything before anyone confronted her. That small pause probably prevented a formal complaint and more than $5,160 in damage. It also showed how event rules can change a place temporarily. Nancy didn't quit volunteering after that close call. Instead, she created a checklist for any event with mixed public spaces. She asks who controls the property, whether signs are posted, and what insurance requires. She also sends herself screenshots before leaving home for proof. That habit restored her confidence and kept her active in the community. Prepared people don't have to choose between caution and participation. Today, Nancy teaches the same checklist to friends at her range. She tells them carry rights are real, but details decide outcomes. That message turns fear into discipline, which is exactly what you need. Hope grows when you stop guessing and start verifying. The goal is not panic. The goal is control. We also need to talk about speed, because this all moves fast. A court opinion drops, a state reacts, then local agencies update slowly. News clips simplify everything, while official guidance takes days or weeks. During that gap, ordinary people make decisions using half-finished information. That's why staying current matters more now than it did 5 years ago. Here's exactly what you need to do next. I'm giving you 5 simple steps you can start this week. You don't need a law degree or expensive equipment for any of them. Just take them in order and write them down carefully. Step 1 matters most, so don't skip it. Ready? Then let's begin together. Step 1. Check whether your home permit is recognized anywhere you plan to visit. Use your state police site, attorney general page, or sheriff guidance first. Do not rely only on forums, friends, or gun store chatter. When you call, ask, does my permit work there and under what limits? Write the answer down today before your next trip happens. Step 2. Make a list of places you personally visit every month. Include banks, schools, clinics, stadiums, churches, government offices, and favorite restaurants. Then look up each location category under your state rules. You're building your own carry boundary map, not somebody else's. That map reduces panic and stops sloppy last-minute decisions. Do this by the weekend and keep the list in your glove box. Step 3. Set 3 reminders for permit renewal, training updates, and law changes. Use your phone calendar, a kitchen planner, or both at once. Many problems start with expired paperwork or old assumptions. When you renew, ask whether any carry zones changed recently. That one question can save thousands and protect your record. Set those alerts tonight before you forget again. Step 4. Carry secure storage equipment, even if you rarely think you'll need it. A locking case and cable can rescue a complicated day fast. If a destination turns out restricted, you need a lawful backup plan. Without storage, one surprise sign can ruin the whole outing. Choose a setup you can use quickly without fumbling under stress. Buy it this week, practice once, and keep it in your vehicle. Step 5. Save contact information for a qualified attorney in your state. I hope you never need that number, but hope isn't a plan. Ask your range, local association, or legal network for referrals. If an officer questions you, calm guidance matters more than internet confidence. Having a real number ready can protect your freedom and your finances. Store it in your phone before the next emergency chooses you. Think of one person who needs this information right now. Maybe it's your brother, your parent, your neighbor, or your hunting partner. Someone you care about could make an honest mistake next week. Share this video with them immediately instead of waiting until later. Text the link now while their safety is still in your hands. Let's review what we covered today. A major court shift changed how some permits must be handled, but states still use location rules, posting rules, and travel traps aggressively. That means your permit may help you more, yet not everywhere. You now know assumptions are dangerous, paperwork matters, and borders change everything. This information could protect your rights, your wallet, and your clean record. Here's the final punch you need to remember. Most gun owners won't get into trouble because of bad intent. They'll get into trouble because they trusted old information on a normal day. A grocery stop, family trip, fundraiser, or school event can trigger the mistake. That's why careful people must stay sharper than the headlines. You don't need fear running your life, but you do need facts. If this helped you, here's what to do next. Subscribe so you catch the next update before rules change again. Share this with someone who carries or wants to carry responsibly. Comment your state or your biggest question below the video. I read comments and use them to plan future breakdowns. Your engagement helps more honest people find this information in time. Important disclaimer: this video is educational only, not legal, financial, or professional advice. Every situation is different, and firearm laws vary widely by state. Always speak with a licensed attorney or qualified professional before acting. What protects one person in one place may fail somewhere else.